So this is the Land Use Committee, and it's May 9th, and my name is Ann Mazar, and I'm the chair of the committee. And why don't we go around the room and introduce ourselves?
Sure. I'm Elena Brugos. I'm on the select board.
Barry Aderola, Planning Board.
Carolyn Barthel, member of the Land Use Committee.
And Jason, you wanna?
Yeah, I'm Jason Cooter, and I'm here to listen.
All right. And Karen, do you want to introduce yourself? You don't have to, but.
I'm Karen Mead, 14 Blackstone Street, just here about the land use.
Okay.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. All right. So did you have a chance to read the minutes?
Yep.
Yes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
April 11th.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
So I guess discuss the votes at the annual town meeting. So the Paddock property did pass, and we're gonna move forward. Yeah. With the purchase and sale and the closing, and so we'll move as fast as we can, but there's just things that we need to do. And at some point, I want to walk on the property, especially with Jack Hunter, because he's involved with affordable housing, and then and anyone who wants to do that. So I'll let everyone know. We're going to walk on the property, and we can do it more than once. But
Yeah, I'm curious about it.
yeah, because there's a
Is-
couple of decisions we have to make on it.
Is Jack Hunter the new affordable housing person?
No, he's a planner,
Oh.
town planner.
Oh, that's
but
right.
he's really helpful with the affordable housing. So.
Right.
Is there anything from the annual town meeting we need to really talk about? I don't think so. Let's go on, but just, I guess the paddock was the big one. So, and then an update on the Inman Hill Trail. It hasn't been marked yet, so I just put it on there because I thought maybe it would have been. But Becky and the Bay State Trail Riders Association are going to do that. And then the hike challenge is going well. People are interested. We haven't even advertised it, but
I loved the question at the town meeting. I thought that was
Okay.
a great way
Yeah.
to get the word out.
yeah, I didn't think that demographic was quite the group that might do the challenge, but
Right,
Yeah.
but it still got the word out.
yeah,
So.
maybe we'll think about it. But there's over 50 people that have registered. So
Great.
yeah, so it's a nice way to get people out on the trails to,
That's great.
yeah. So I wanted to talk about the open space and recreation plan goals, and everybody has that sheet, I believe, or yeah, you have it? Yeah.
No.
So if you flip it over where it says new and old,
Oh, I see.
so the land use, 5-year land use goals that, here.
Yeah, are these the ones that are on the website?
Yes. So these are the 5-year land use goals, and they're also the goals that are in the current open space and recreation plan, but we're updating it now. And so what we're looking to do is these goals, the new goals up here, which really consolidate the goals below. But what's not in the open space and recreation plan are to provide cemetery space for future needs, acquisition for town needs, and then the affordable housing. So it's the 8, 9, 10,
Mm-hmm.
and also 7 to guide business. So the new ones consolidate 1 through 6.
Okay.
And so what I'd like to do is, I think 7, 8, 9, and 10 are still appropriate for the land use committee goals. They're not really appropriate for the open space and recreation plan. And so just change the goals 1 through 6 to the new 1 through 4 goals. Does that make sense?
Right, so they're.
So
currently-
Wait a minute.
So,
So 7 through 10 is who's,
well,
Purview?
1 through 10 is the 5-year land use plan. And so what I'd like to do is have that 5-year land use plan be the new 1, 2, 3, and 4,
Yeah,
and 7, 8, 9, and 10.
got it.
And the 1 through 4 just consolidates the 1 through 6 in the old one. This is kind of confusing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I see, right. So like 3, I see is some consolidation.
And then the change for the open space plan is 7, 8, 9, and 10 won't be in that because it's really for open space and recreation, the plan. Whereas those definitely are land use considerations, but not open space and recreation plan.
Mhm.
So,
Some people do enjoy cemeteries. Sorry.
I'm
Recreational use of cemeteries.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Okay.
I don't think I've actually met you before.
Well, on
This is
Zoom.
Peter
I'm
Coffin.
Elena, nice to
Elena.
meet you.
Thank you for your service.
Peter Coffin is on the conservation, he's on the land use committee, but he represents the Conservation Commission. So, we were just talking about the 5-year land use goals. It's the page that says new and old on it. I think if you flip it over, yeah.
Okay.
And so I'd like to replace 1 through 6 with the new 1 through 4. They just consolidate basically 1 through 6.
Although with taking out cemetery, I haven't had a chance to look at this, but I'm just trying, what is the difference? That's the only one that if I do a quick scan,
Well, we're redoing the open space and recreation plan, and so we were trying to consolidate the goals, because it used to be the 1 through 10, but 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the old 5-year land use plan. they
yeah, and
don't really-
affordable housing, yeah,
They don't really
that's,
relate,
I understand.
So I'm sort of separating them. So for the 5-year land use plan, for the land use committee, we'll keep 7, 8, 9, and 10. But for the first 6, I just want to replace it with those 4
Ah,
goals.
okay.
And so it'll just sort of coordinate with the open space and recreation plan more. That's all. Does that make sense to people?
Is there a reason for the consolidation? Just to get rid of
Just to
extra
streamline
words?
it. Yeah, because in the open space and recreation plan, you have to have goals and objectives, and then you have to have an action plan. So for every goal you have to list all the action plans. And so it's easier to have just 4, goals.
To be honest with you, I much prefer the language. First of all, it's shorter, but also it's bolder because, you capitalize all the nouns, which,
Yeah, right,
which is good because it's not a narrative, which this is like 2. It's like legal. No, you're doing a vision. They're more like bullets. So I prefer the,
So, yeah, I guess, so it'd be,
Change the
yeah, so
language
7,
of
8, 9, and 10, we could kind of
Get rid of
change
the
to
2,
mirror
like help
the top
guide and
ones.
provide cemetery.
Yeah, so like, instead of to help guide, it could be guide business and residential development.
yes, it's, yeah.
Okay,
Or just, no, see, there's no to there. It's not, they're not imperatives.
right. So take off to
Make it
help and say
just-
guide
just
business
guide.
and residential development.
Yep,
Take off the to.
Yep.
Try to provide cemetery space.
Yep.
Assist.
Yep, just get rid of all 2
All
and
the
then
twos,
every,
all the infinitives.
turn
Okay.
them all to.
Yeah,
All right.
I think that works.
Okay.
make them.
Have we done anything about cemetery space? Because I know there was a big hullabaloo 10 years ago. Did we do
Yeah,
anything
they-
to settle the issue or
Of what?
cemetery
No,
space?
not really.
Running out of?
Nope.
No, okay.
There was some town land that somebody was going to give the town because it was near other town land, but it's like in the middle of the woods. And so the
Oh.
cemetery commissioners said it's really not a great place because then vandalism can happen. And so I think they want a more prominent location, but it's, something to.
Vandalism can happen to cemeteries. I'm sorry, that can happen anywhere, right? If Vandalism in the country, that's the beauty of a
Well,
rural character, right?
This
Vandalism can happen anywhere,
location though was like, not on a road, it was like way down a beaten path. I mean, I wasn't really involved in it, but
And we don't need that, but I remember it was a big hullabaloo. Somebody wanted to develop it. Was it high groundwater? It was somebody, a selectman or a former, I forget who it was.
it was just a
Cemetery
long time
space.
ago then maybe.
10, 15 years ago, but we don't need to go there. I'm a cemetery. warrior.
But it is something for us to think about, when land comes up for sale or whatever.
So you want a motion on that or is-
Sure.
change it? Because it's a pretty
Sure.
important document.
Yes, you're right, it is. That's a good point. Okay.
So we're
So,
basically substituting the first 4 for the first 6 and then, or first.
right.
tell me.
So it'd be 1, 2, 3, and 4 from the new ones,
And then
and
7
then,
becomes 5
Yeah.
kind of idea.
7
Yeah.
to 10 would be
5
included.
to 9.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
count.
I know.
And just modifying the word, removing the first 2 in those last ones. So,
Yep.
yeah. That would be my motion if you can capture that.
I can.
Second.
All right, any discussion? We should. Okay, all those in favor?
All right,
I
Okay. Then the other thing I want to mention is I'm working in the open space and recreation plan, and you might want to come over here just because I have this map I copied it from the biomap. And with the action plan, you're supposed to focus on areas that the town wants to keep an eye on, in terms of land preservation, buying land and whatnot. And so this is the town of Mendon here. And these are the protected areas, these stripes. You can come over here and look at here. See,
The yellow stripes?
yellow stripes, right?
Yeah, because this is in essence, this is like serious planting, continue, I'm sorry. You're saying where we're mapping where our priority open space should be.
Yep.
And you're mapping where our existing ones are, and then we would have goals which aren't necessarily by region or area. But, yes.
What we've
continue.
done in the past is, focused on the biomap, core habitat and natural landscapes, which are the green. So
Yeah.
those would be areas that if there's land around it,
This is Uxbridge, right?
yes, that's Uxbridge. And then, the 2 other areas that I circled were, this is Inman Hill, the top of Inman
The
Hill.
white areas there, those are big
Yeah.
open spaces.
Right.
Yeah. Who owns those?
The town,
Town?
but
All 3 of those?
they're not,
All 1, 2, 3?
mhm.
Okay.
Nothing else on this.
And what about going right? Is that, what would that be?
I'm not sure who that is.
Is that what's it, Peter Denton?
No, Peter Denton is down here. He's right in core habitat, which is like really bad with the Barney land.
So that would have access off of Blackstone Street. Well, no.
This one?
yeah. Well, both of these would be my 2 concerns, just looking at it. This one and that one.
Yeah,
They're big
So,
holes that could be easily
I
filled. I'm
mean,
not sure if
it's
they're
kind of
direct
like
ones.
this whole area here, because there's a lot of big parcels
Which
there.
part is Inman?
Inman is right here. And, right, and so I circle that too, just because, there's other land around it and.
Huh. What's that? What's
Well,
that out
basically-
there?
Those are people's own it. I know, I saw that too.
Just looking at it philosophically,
Mhm.
I'm a little worried. We start off with our best, right? Which is the state, which is these totally undeveloped, large areas of unprotected land. And that's good, right? And that should be priority habitat. But is that where, I might want to, that habitat here might be more important generally and/or if that is always your priority, as it likely is, that if it's a budding existing protected area, that's even another reason to do it. So then we're kind of limiting ourselves to areas which we already have a stake in. I'm just kind of looking
Well,
at
you
this
did, like,
philosophically.
Yeah, it's sort of like on the plan, though, you're supposed to say, what areas
What
do you
areas?
want to set aside? So then if the land comes up to the state and you're writing a grant, you can say, oh, well, in our open space and recreation plan, we circled that property. And so,
Okay, well, they're different from open space and recreation. Recreation would say, I want a ball field here and a playground here and here.
Yep,
They're a totally
yep.
different way of looking
Yep.
at where you, so if this is rare and endangered species, yes. If, and therefore it's become our trails.
Yep.
But it's not necessarily our recreation, because where's our recreation?
Yep.
The bulk of it's right there.
right. And that's a good point. And Dan and I are working on this together. And so I will go to him and say, what are the areas you're looking at?
Right, and I don't want
To coordinate
complexify,
with-
but
okay.
we're going to be talking maybe about the town meeting. But I
What?
felt that we needed to have a better statement to the town meeting. A, as to the value of open space. And thank you for trying to make the arguments, but we got to do more. But that Morrison parcel was key because it could serve three of our needs, right? Could be affordable housing, it could. And we see that, and no, you got to be flexible, but people aren't comfortable with flexibility with, they want a plan and that you've decided what is going to go where.
Mhm.
That's a lot easier because people don't trust,
Mhm.
oh, it's going to do this or this.
Well, the thing about that is that anything that we do has to, like if we do affordable housing, we have to go back to town meeting anyways to get a vote. But this vote was more just to secure the property so that the town had it. And then we have time to plan.
Yeah, but you're going to be putting an easement on something.
Yeah.
And I don't think you want to put an easement on land that you want to develop for affordable housing purposes.
Well, you can, because CPA funds you can use for affordable housing.
You can, but
Yeah.
before you write the easement, you've got to carve out that parcel. I would think.
Exactly. So that's what
Okay.
the planning part is for that
Right.
property.
So it's
Yeah.
just got to happen quicker, or
Yeah, I mean, now that we have the town meeting vote, we have some time to figure out exactly how we're gonna do it. That's why one reason I want Jack Hunter to walk the property with me, to get his input on that, the planner.
Because the other thing that Morrison was, because where would Morrison be on this property?
Morrison is.
The one that we just, so it's on the edge, so
Oh,
it's
yeah, right
not
there.
really in our
It's,
green,
Let's see, it's.
but I would say it's kind of key.
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Key also because kind of it's visual, what people see in traffic. That corner is kind of more important than just
The
that on
paddock.
map.
You can get into
Yes.
The paddock.
Quissett from pretty close by.
Say it again?
You can get into Inman and Quissett from pretty close by to those properties.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sort
they're
of.
like
I know, I wish
adjacent.
they could connect. They don't quite, but this is a lot of open space here, though. This is the state owns some,
Is it state forest?
well, the
It's Fish
town
and
forest
Wildlife.
is,
Or the,
yeah,
is
Fish
it
and
town
Wildlife
hall?
I
owns,
spent a lot of time there.
yeah, so the town owns this, but Fish and Wildlife holds the conservation restriction. Fish and Wildlife owns this and it goes into Blackstone. And then we preserve it was the Pearson Farm. And the state bought the back part and then we got a farmer to preserve the front part and the town holds a
So
conservation
you're saying
restriction.
all
So this
that
is a big
green,
area.
green is protected?
No, the striped is.
Striped is.
Striped is. So that's the old Pearson Farm.
What's this
That's the state.
pale green?
That
That's just
is,
biomap 2 or something?
that's natural supporting landscape. So the most valuable habitat is in the dark green. And then the lighter green is supporting landscape. And then the white's not so much. But now the new biomap 2 has like local habitats. So it zeroes in more. So like, and then like if I zeroed in this property, we might find out that, oh, this has certain species on it and it's important.
Mhm.
This is a great map for open space for natural species and wildlife. And it probably is, I'm not sure if it makes it probably better for trails, but there should be a different map for recreation.
Well, it has to be on the same map, and so I will work with Dan
orange
Byer.
or yellow or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a different kind of, whole different,
Well, they want you just to
Resources.
prioritize areas, you don't, and then in the goals and the action plan, then it relates to this, so that's where it's broken down.
well, we haven't really done a whole lot of recreation planning, right? Assuming we always need ball fields, as if we know what type of ball fields or can we go away. I don't know.
Dan's pretty,
Soccer and lacrosse is what we need.
yeah, well, Dan's working on it,
Standard,
I mean,
flat,
you know.
and square. you
Yeah,
can-
that's it.
they'll do something.
Flat rectangle.
So, I mean, that's the general direction that we're going in, is like for the open space, focusing on the core habitats, and then, you know, like you said, for the recreation, you know, focusing on properties that could be good ball fields, if they ever went up for sale, that type of thing.
Well, what's the status on that parcel? Have we given that away or what's? the-
Yeah, I was wondering about that up there.
That, the town owns that.
Can we sit down? Yes, but have we,
It's, there's
was there a negotiation as to what was going to happen with that? Or someone was going to buy part of it?
long story. It was given to the town, but there's
Oh, that's
a
for the
life estate-
library.
There was a
It's-
life
no,
estate
not the
to a
library.
man in
Oh.
his 50s
Right, and so
who didn't want anyone. Yeah.
it's, so we had an arrangement, yes, trust. So we had an
Drove
arrangement,
over there.
yeah, it's a beautiful piece where the person at the life estate was gonna get part of it. And then the town would keep the bulk of it. And then we'd get rid of the life estate because the person doesn't even want to live there. But then things got complicated. Third parties that shouldn't have been involved got involved. And so the trust said, take it as it is. And so we have it now, but it has this life estate on it
A life estate?
until this person dies.
Oh,
Right, he has the
How old is
ability
this
to live
person?
there, I guess, without paying taxes for as long as he lives. So he was trying to sell off that and he can't really because, so,
Well, we had a whole agreement with the trustees of reservations, the town. It was all set to give that person land, town keep the rest, then the town could utilize that land. But because the third party or fourth party got involved, it didn't work.
well, I guess then I am very happy because I didn't see any need to do anything. Just wait till the guy dies and then we get the whole 100 acres. Why should, versus some people would want it, I think, it is the argument. We want more, you want to make the argument, we can't afford to keep preserving land, taking it off the tax base because we need tax base to pay our taxes. And if we buy up all the land and preserve it for open space, the thinking is we won't have the taxes. And I think that argument needs to be, it's not an easy thing. It's
Well,
complex.
the situation was good because it was about 70 acres. And so it would have been less than 5 that this person would have gotten, and the town would have still had 65, and it could have been for recreation, open space, or a school in the future if the town wanted to do it. That's what it's restricted to. Whereas now it's just sort of in limbo. You know what I mean?
But the town owns it.
Yeah, it's like, it's just like a weird situation, you know?
And that's okay. It's in limbo until the guy dies.
You know, if the
You
town
can't
owns
use
it,
it,
then, you know,
And the town's
maybe
probably
when-
worried of liability. And I would hope that you wouldn't have to worry about it. No, that's his liability if somebody breaks in and,
Yeah, so anyways,
Yeah.
but it's an area that, you know, since we do own that, it's an area that would be something that the town should watch out for, because I mean, for many reasons, it's valuable for the town, for the open space, but also it could be sports fields, it could be a sports building, you know, like an athletic center, or it could be a school, and it's in close proximity to Misco right now. So it's a
Mhm.
pretty neat property that the town
and
has.
across the street, isn't Gary Smith going forward with like a cultural center there on the corner?
Well, kind of across the street, it's, has a conservation restriction on it, which the town holds the conservation restriction, and half of it has to remain open space, but half of it can be agriculture, and so
Well, there's a parking lot, right? There's plans for a building there. I forget what his dream was.
it's to be like an agricultural arts center. And
Arts center.
It's the Shirley Jean,
Memory of his mother, yes.
but I think I'm not sure where that is right now.
They've got the parking lot done, so that's, but in any event, it just says there's a cluster up there. And I'm just speaking for geographic.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
there
yeah,
are
no,
those.
that whole area has a lot of big spaces up there, open space. So does that generally make sense to everybody in terms of the areas to focus on, and then having Parks and Rec determine the areas for the creation.
Recreation,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And
And
that'll
it's
be,
primarily Inman Hill,
what?
right. right? That's what you were, those
No.
are the circled areas.
No, it's all the areas
Oh.
that are the core habitat and natural supporting landscapes, all of that.
Oh.
And areas where we have land,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
but,
Do Parks and Recs run all the fields in town? School fields?
I think, isn't there that one privately owned soccer field?
The use of the fields,
The town
but
owns that
someone's got to
on-
schedule it all,
Yeah.
right?
No, actually, I was thinking the one on 140, that's like,
140. Oh, yeah, that's
That's private, right?
the New England Football Club, but
Yeah.
the town uses that though.
right, but the town doesn't, does the town own it?
No.
Okay,
New
yeah, that's what I
England
was,
Football Club
yeah,
does.
yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what my husband is the president of.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep. So the town uses it like at a discount.
Mhm.
So it's a field that they do have access to.
Okay.
Sorry, and can you say again what the source of these maps,
Oh, it's a biomap too.
biomap?
Yeah, if you go online, you can see it. It's,
Go, like,
if you do
is it a
biomap,
It's like
state
10 years
thing
old.
or-
10 years old, done by the state with core habitat and
biomap, that's the original one, but biomap 2 is all new and updated, and they have a website, and they have more information in it. It's good. But I'm not really sure how to print the maps out, so that's why you're looking at this. I just did screenshots of them. Okay, so the next thing is Peter walked the 32 George Street, which is the property that abuts the Pond Street open space subdivision.
Alfonso's, cul-de-sac there.
Right, and so he went with Alan Greenberg. Took him around, and so how did the borders look?
So we started where the old Cox House is, and those signs are nice. And then the big open space, there's a big sign like on a cart path coming in. That's nice. So all the signs look good. He did a great job. And then coming along where we had to move the wall, there's a series of signs on the back of all those people, and those were nice. On the north side of the road,
Like by the George Street side?
as you
kinda?
come in off of George Street, immediately on your right, there's like a wetland. And in that wetland, someone has done a very beautiful job of constructing a crossing with like,
Constructing what?
constructing a pedestrian crossing.
Oh.
Nicely done. I mean, good equipment. And so I am loath to, as a Concom, what am I supposed to do? No, you're not supposed to do anything without asking permission. No.
Yeah.
It better that they do that and cross over that than traipsing, making a trail through the wetlands. But I don't know how officially to do that, right? Because we don't want to encourage people to going off of their property on open space and upgrading, making trails where that's problematic. But I don't want, first of all, I'm saying that I didn't want this position as steward, being an owner there. I didn't mind supervising the management of the construction. But this next step of going to my neighbors and saying, oh, as I'm on the, and I did a walk and I just am uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, well,
So-
I think the borders, like, if there's encroaching, then Concom will send a letter out. I mean, it's just, I mean, the crossing over the wetlands, is it just like boards? or
Right, so
something?
I guess that's for the Concom to
Is
decide.
it just
As to,
boards?
the same thing that the Concom has to decide with the people with the badminton net, volleyball net, and using, so that one I can see, no, you can't allow that. This one I can kind of see, no, they did a nice job. They don't own it. It's not kind of their backyard so much as I would feel comfortable using that because it's on open space and I would be walking on it. And so they've made a nice, improved the trails.
Is it boards or what is it?
They put like cedar stringers and then, yes, so it's narrow, but it's like 3 feet, but it's like 8 feet long
Mhm.
and nicely screwed, good quality equipment, like, so it's,
And
Yeah.
then how about the other borders, the other parts of the border?
well, so that's on the north side. As you come, the existing houses on George Street are where the problem is. Because on the back line, so coming right from the new road, there's like, if you work back down towards Cox's house, there's like 4 houses along there. The last one, John Knox built the salt box and it's got next to the open field. So we worked our way down. About the 3rd house down had a big pile of mulch in the back. And he's got like a couple sheds, and I'm sure he's an old townie, and so a lot of storage. But in the open space is a big mound of organic matter.
Okay, so I mean,
So
it's
it doesn't
something, a
need to be
letter.
moved, but yeah, there should be.
Yeah, that should be a letter.
Then walking down, the next owner, so not the John Knox creation, but at the end, the next owner, Alan said he installed those two signs on his back line. One sign was missing. The other sign I could see was very artfully put on the guy's wood pile. So he took the sign off of the property line, moved it 15 feet and stuck it into his wood pile. So it's like kind of, he knew, I don't know
Was
what.
it still on the border? Was it
No,
still
it's not on the border because the wood pile's 20 feet off his border, but that's where the sign is. And the other one is missing. And then Alan did not put in the next 2 signs because that's right where the gas right of way comes in.
Mhm.
And he wasn't really sure where the signs should go. So he and I both agreed that we're going to put it right on the corner because that's kind of the purpose of this, you know, is so that people can see. So the right of way comes off of George Street here. So we're going to put one right on the sign and then another one on the line going back towards the road, but not in the right of way. So Alan will be able to finish his job by installing those 2. And we or you have to give him direction about the 2 that went missing. Do we try to put them back up again? Or do we write a letter to that guy saying,
Like the
hey,
conservation.
you know, or do we,
That's-
I don't know how you want to address, be the nice friendly way is to talk with them or give people a call. So I don't know how to. So that's pretty much my report.
All right,
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think that the people that are encroaching, like throwing the stuff on the property.
Well, they're not actively throwing. So the pile's not active. And I think the guy fixed by drawing back what probably had been there.
Okay,
But he didn't move this pile, you know, it's probably 6 feet tall and 8 feet around. It's a good organic. So it's not hurting anything, but yeah. So he's not actively doing it. No one's actively doing except that bridge, which was actively.
Well, the corner
I have
window.
I have more issue with is the person who are moving the signs.
Yeah.
That's
okay,
it's an in your face kind of thing.
all right, well, Medicom Land Trust is gonna put a conservation restriction on that property, and I have to follow up on that. But I'll find out what they found out when they've done the monitoring or did the baseline survey to see if. And so, because you took pictures, didn't you?
I did. They're on my phone, and I have a hard time transferring them. But and I'm
I
not
think
sure I
that
took
they
one
will-
of the mound, but I should have. We can always go out there, right? So, and that's what I prefer to do. Like especially if people build the bridge. I don't want to be hard on them, right? I want to because I think they tried to did.
Mhm.
I'm assuming it's the neighbors who live right there, but.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see what Medicom says, except for that corner house where they removed the signs, they really shouldn't have removed those signs. So maybe I'll ask Conservation to write them a letter.
Yes. Because who paid for it? Is Conservation Commission,
Land use.
land use paid for it? But it is
I
a
mean-
conservation, yes.
I mean, the idea is that, I mean, some people, like, when we originally bought the property, some people didn't know they were encroaching on it because,
I think
mean, it
that's
had been
yes.
like years and years and years. And so we knew where the border was, so we told the neighbors, you know, like, some people had like a Quonset hut on the property and they moved it, wood piles were moved. People have been really good about, you know, I don't think they just knew where the border was, really. And so we're just trying to keep the open space open for everybody, but not for people to use it for the personal use, so.
So I will write that up and I'll try to get 1 or 2 photographs for you. But
Yeah, that'd be great if you could. That'd be great. Okay. It's a really nice piece of open space. You know, it's not really, we haven't really opened it to the town yet, but it's like 24 acres. But it's got like wetlands, it has like a little stream, it has an open field, it has this cool cart path on it, some big
no,
trees.
but let me just take 1 minute because I'm a little frustrated. The main reason why we got it was harder to build on because it's turtle habitat. Because there's a place there where they dig. And so you got to keep that type of habitat available to them, which has come to be interpreted as mowing. Now, that hadn't been mowed for years and years, and those turtles did there. But because for some reason it stayed as a field, it didn't grow into forest. But where it comes up in trees, the developer turned over the property and maybe $6,000,
We gave
at
5,000 to the.
$5,000 to maintain it. The state comes up with a plan that says it's supposed to be mowed either once a year or every 2 years.
It's every 7 years, but it really
Every
needs to
7
be
years
more
to,
than that,
well,
though.
whatever. So we didn't do it the first 7 years. And you don't mow something for 7 years, and then you can't mow it. So now we have the obligation, I guess, of trying to keep that mowed. We used all our money on the first job of mowing it, and it ain't there anymore. So the town, you don't
That
get
might-
Boy
that-
Scouts mowing it, so I don't know how to do that. But
That would be something
that
to bring
property-
to add the money to your budget at town meeting, you know what I mean? I mean, and then you'd have it.
Yeah, but you need an advocate, and to me, that is not smart money. You got to be, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you want a bunch of Boy Scouts to mow it? Could probably arrange that.
Yeah, I would the mowing, but then if you, and
They need
do,
to be
but the
monitored.
the chainsaw is the next step up. But once you get it under control, I think it could be done with mowing, or actually could be done with burning. That would be an ideal place to do, but,
What are
It's
the
hard to get
turtles
the
gonna do?
permits for that.
excuse me?
What are the turtles gonna do, run?
Well, they're not there except that one time of the year, right? And that's pretty much,
Yeah, you have to do it between April,
it had to be done by April
after
15th or
October and
something.
before April
Before
1st, I
April.
think, or April 15th was the time period. But yeah, I mean, conservation should think about maybe the management plan for that, you know, like how you want to do that.
Right. It's just that as the town buys land,
That wasn't
Concom is not
bought.
well, whatever.
Oh, but-
As the town has interest in land, the town is not good at maintaining.
Okay,
Thanks.
so
So it's the Concom, Parks and Rec, Boy Scouts, Selectmen, I don't know.
I'd like to say something on that property though, because I said, let's give it to Metacomet Land Trust. And Conservation Commission was adamant you wanted to keep it.
That-
So you want to keep it, so you need to manage it, you know?
Well, it's a new Concom, so we can have that discussion. So
Yeah. I suppose you could give it.
State
away.
takes over land, they let it go wild.
And don't get me going on detention ponds. Who maintains detention ponds? But that's another issue. Sorry, I don't want to digress.
Yeah. Yeah, that management thing is from the National Heritage and Endangered Species Program, right?
Right, and so I understand it's kind of a difference. But all right, let's move on. I'm sorry, I talked too much.
I think we're pretty much, that's all I have. Does anybody else have any? Oh, I did have one other thing. WPI and UMass sent a survey to me, and they want organizations to fill this survey out. It can't be like, it's not an individual, you have to represent an organization. And the topic is land use planning and management and climate change. And so I was wondering if I could fill it out for the land use committee, you know?
Please do
with
so.
that.
I think I was supposed to do
Good with that?
do the same thing for Greg, so yes.
You good with that, Barry?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that. So does anybody have anything or?
Can I share with you a little moaning, just because
Sure.
the Concom, Lake Nipmuc? Besides I guess Mr. Pinto building his house and blasting, I don't have a problem with that, but where cutting all the trees down, there was a kerfuffle. But more recently, there was a redevelopment of one of the houses off of Old Taft.
I heard about that.
And
What
then
happened?
just 2 weeks ago,
Redevelopment, yeah. heard
and I
about
believe
this.
it's Damon bought the house and kind of, I guess, tore it down and then rebuilt. And we went through the order of conditions, the Concom. But then someone sends us, the Concom, a picture of a little mini excavator on Old Taft Ave. It's so right in the middle, this house on the left, well, they're all on the left, redone, but there was a machine there, and they sent us the picture, and we had it at our meeting, and we said, oh, that looks kind of close to the lake. What are they doing there? Next week, the guy builds a little stone wall and creates a nice little parking area. And improves what I thought there might have, I was giving him a cut and a break, that there was an existing wall and he was repairing it. But evidently, maybe there wasn't any wall. So here we have an instance of how can the Concom let that stand? I would think would say, you got to take the wall out. I'm sorry. Or why didn't you come to us? And they're going to say, well, everyone else has a wall or everyone else has a dam. So it's a philosophical, but it's also kind of political and
Well, it's sort of like they probably put the walls up before we knew better, but now you have to go to Concom and get permission to, do any work in the wetlands or not do work in wetlands.
So
And
was the order of conditions closed on the property?
I
when they
believe it
passed papers?
probably, yes, they probably
So
passed
the new
papers.
owner had a wall built.
Correct.
When I went by there for the yacht club meeting 2 weeks ago, there was a wall there and it was sand. It looked like a beach. No, actually, no, it was Sunday because I went to pick up tickets
Okay, well
for a
then
raffle.
that's the
So it
wall.
looks
there.
like a beach. It doesn't look like a parking area.
I don't know what it was
But the
before
wall,
the
the
wall.
wall is new.
New wall and a new 4-inch
It's
white
filled
pipe
with sand.
coming out of the bottom and then going directly into the lake. And then no fencing, no silt fence, no hay bales, no,
So this is the new homeowner that did this.
I believe it's got to be, yes.
I mean, on the Pond Street one, the developer had to take the wall out that he built in the open space, I mean,
Yeah, only because the town wasn't going to accept the road. If it was between two homeowners out in the middle of the woods, there wouldn't be, yes, I understand. So it's just the Concom. We need a clerk, and I
You
guess
do.
we're
You
hiring
need an
one, so we
agent.
desperately
you need an
one.
agent,
Well, evidently, if we hire this guy, he's going to be good. So
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Is it a part-time or how many hours?
part-time.
Yeah.
But he's older. Well, I don't know. Maybe we haven't hired him because he had to pass background check. I shouldn't talk about it.
But you had well, it's promising to hear that you have someone that.
Who is
possibly might-
experienced and knows the ropes, yes. So
That's
that's
great,
what we
yeah.
need.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it's obviously an all-volunteer board and Concom has a lot to do. You have a lot to react to.
Well, there's paperwork too. It's a state laws, and so it's not as if it's our own. Yeah. But entertain a motion to adjourn, or having too much fun?
Second,
All right. Yeah, all those in favor?
all right.
All right. Thank you.
I missed the talk on the hike challenge. It sounds like it's going great, right?
The what?
It's the hike challenge.
It is,
I'm on
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, they came here and talked about it and